This was a fun one, I mean, and it was very, very original as well, because it's like a slasher, but there's also like a lot of supernatural elements to it as well. And it was just unexpected, I mean, there's that whole thing with the bees, and then, the Candyman, he has that weird hook for a hand. The whole thing was just very interesting. I mean, this was just a wild one. The Candyman, a murderous soul with a hook for a hand, is accidentally summoned to reality by a skeptic grad student researching the monster's myth. So I saw this movie kind of on a whim, I had like vaguely heard about it. And I'm a big fan of the Final Destination movies. Tony Todd was in all of those, and I had heard, that he had been in a previous horror movie, that had a lot of cult acclaim. So, I looked it up on IMDb, and, I see, okay, it's called The Candyman. Let me give it a shot. And I absolutely loved this movie. One of my favorite things about this movie is that the ideas are just so unique. I mean, there's this guy in a trench coat that's just out here killing people, and I mean, there's this whole thing about the swarm of bees that are involved, and he's got a hook for a hand. I mean, he's black, I mean, that's just a nice change of pace for me. I mean, the movie is set in Chicago, I mean, it was just nice to see something so fresh and to see all these ideas and everything work together just to make just a great movie. Now, a big part of this movie, I think, is the Candyman's effect on his victim's mental state, and what I'm referring to specifically is Helen. She's one of the main characters in the movie. There's so many scenes where, she starts to see things that aren't exactly there, and you can kind of tell that the Candyman is really distorting like her perception of reality, and I thought that was just such an interesting kind of element to add, just because it adds a whole nother layer to the movie that I wasn't expecting. So this is one of those scenes in the movie where things kind of take an unexpected twist. You're seeing stuff on screen, and at least for me, I was thinking, okay, this is probably what Helen thinks she's seeing, but when things flip back to reality, you see what's actually going on.
Trevor!
Real good.
Trevor!
Hey!
Trevor!
Hey!
Trevor!
Now, something I was not expecting in this movie is how bloody and gory some of the scenes are. Now, I know what you're saying, like, what are you expecting? It's a horror movie, but listen, like, you gotta understand, all right? Like, when I saw this movie, it was so shocking because the scenes literally go from 0 to 100 in the most violent and ferocious ways. So the results are in, the Candyman is an excellent movie. I just love the Candyman in general. I thought he was super interesting, and there's this whole kind of lore about him as well. He's not just a monster. There's this whole kind of vibe to him, I really love that, most of the movie was set in these kind of confined apartment spaces and rooms. And I thought that was just an excellent choice for this kind of creepy, mind-bending style of movie. The Candyman is just a unique, fun, bloody, gory ride. I highly recommend it.